Hello and welcome to episode number 6 of the Sharp Fit for Life podcast, where today we're going to be talking about something that's quite pertinent to us at the moment, which is rest and recovery. Pertinent, yes, as in it's important, it's poignant, it's required right now. And do you want to let everyone know why it's quite important right now?
Well, I blew out my other foot this time, so that's both my left and my right one.
Yeah. So he's damaged his other foot, and it was another skating accident. And these things do happen, don't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes we do go and we do that little bit too much work. We kind of push it that little bit further than our body kind of allows us to. And at that point, your body will break, and it will kind of say, actually, I'm not going to go any further now. Hopefully, what tends to happen is you don't push it too far, and in which case you have lots and lots of times off. But this time I think it's certainly looking a lot better than the previous one you did.
Yeah, well, it feels a bit better, but it's a lot more bruised and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a shame we can't flag up an image on it. Bad enough.
Well, you can do later when you do the YouTube edit if you want. Stick it in. I don't know. Maybe it's an option.
No, I've got a graphic warning thing. But,
Feels like one of those moments, though, for everybody who's just listening in audio and you're not actually watching the video on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook thing, then it's the ball next to the pink one if you're in black and white. It's one of those kind of mad snooker. You will never know. You don't know what black and white TV is, do you? Back in the day, when you had dials on TVs and remotes were just a thing of the future. The commentator would tell you whereabouts the balls were positioned. He'd tell you the pink ball is next to the red ball.
In the radio.
Yeah, and obviously you can't see where either of those two are, so it's a bit pointless really saying that. So same kind of thing here, putting a photo up for an audio broadcast, it's going to be a bit pointless. However, for everybody who's watching on the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see it in graphic detail if he manages to stick it into the video.
Sure I can.
But anyway, back to the kind of key topic, and that is around rest and recovery. So we kind of know that actually we need to push our bodies for them to adapt, right?
Because if we're not too far.
Yeah, because if we're not pushing our bodies, then all that happens is it just stays in its comfort zone. And, the comfort zone's comfy, it's easy, but the reality is that's where actually you start to decline because you only have two states. You're either growing or you're dying, right? So, you want to keep yourself growing because you don't want to start yourself dying. Certainly not at this stage of the game anyway. So if you're going to be doing that, it means you are going to be pushing your body. You're not going to take it quite close to the limits in some cases, especially if you want to become really good at your chosen sport, or even if you're doing like weightlifting things or bodybuilding, etc., or any kind of gym exercise. You really want to be working at that kind of top end so that you are actually getting the maximum return on the time that you're invested in doing your sport or doing your exercise, etc. Because, if you guys are in business, you'd look to do that from a financial perspective. In fact, even if you're a homeowner or you're just doing it for your own personal life, you always want to make sure you get value for money, right? You're always looking for the 2-for-1 offers or the buy one get one free. That is a 2-for-1 offer, just under a different name, isn't it? So anyway, you are looking for getting the best possible deal. So you will be looking at pushing your body that little bit too far, but it hurts when it goes wrong, doesn't it?
Yep. Walking like John Wayne, and I'm only 20.
He's got a swagger, that's what he's trying to tell you. Yeah, everyone digs it. So the thing is, you have to now take that time out to rest and recover it, because you can go from zero to stress in no time whatsoever. And that's exactly what you do when you're putting your body into these kind of positions where you're kind of pushing it, making sure that you are trying to achieve that maximum weights lifted, be able to achieve that kind of fastest distance you've managed to achieve those amazing flips and spins and twirls and all sorts of other bits and pieces you do. Did. Oh, you'll do it again, I'm pretty sure. It's not a permanent thing, is it? And because you've kind of done that, you kind of got this thing where you got zero to stress in no time whatsoever, in a good way, because you can have good stresses as well as bad stresses. You have to bring your body back the other way, and it takes a lot longer to de-stress and actually get yourself into a rest and recovery position. You have to kind of let it ease into. You just have to give it time, let it relax, etc. But when you do, kind of benefits at that point in time are just simply immense, especially if you've got all the other things right in your life as well. So you've got the right kind of nutrition coming in, so your body's got the right building blocks to be able to repair itself. You've got the right kind of the nutrition side supporting you from an energy perspective, because at the end of the day, even your immune system, which is repairing your body, it requires energy as well. It's not just your muscles that require it.
But
Everything you do does.
But there's a limit to the rest. You don't want to just like, you don't want to just rest for like a year, really.
No.
Unless required.
No, I mean, and that's where you really have to take the advice of the professionals. You speak to the consultants, you speak to physios, and all those kind of people that are out there to help and support you actually recover in the best possible way. Because that way they can tell you what it is that you need to do with your body. And sometimes it might be a case of, yep, feet up, don't do anything. It just needs a little bit of time to go okay. Other times, it's actually beneficial to keep yourself mobile and keep yourself moving.
No, sure.
But really, definitely take that kind of advice. Make sure that you follow the instructions that they give you, because as you found out, when you didn't follow the instructions, it took a lot longer to heal. Whereas actually, with your tendon injury, I mean, just give them a bit of an overview of kind of what you've been doing with your other foot in recovering that, because that's been nearly 2 years.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, the big damage one, not the sprain, the actual tendon injury.
Well, this could be tendons, we don't know. But well, I didn't rest it because I thought it was Superman or something. Didn't do my physio because I didn't believe in it. Just because I've had loads of injuries before, and just shrug them off. But obviously, this one was worse, and so I didn't do anything to fix it, and then it kind of got worse. Didn't get better, and now it kind of stayed worse, and probably will be bad for quite a bit longer. But now I've started doing I've had to stop doing my physio because I need to wait for my other foot to get better, so I start doing it again. But it really does help if you actually do rest and recover it, as I'm doing with this one.
Yeah, and you're kind of following the advice now. And since you've been doing the physio and you've actually done the rest and recovery in between, your other foot has actually started to really work a lot better. I mean, I can remember last year, for example, at the start of lockdown, you're like a trapped animal in a cage because you couldn't use your foot, you couldn't go out on your bike, you couldn't really do skating anymore, etc. Whereas today, okay, you're limited slightly because it's still got a little bit of range of motion, etc., and a little bit more pain. But the reality is you have been out there. In fact, it's really been this last year that you kind of picked up the skateboard more than the scooter and the BMX.
Which I shouldn't have done because I've now hurt the other one.
Rubbish.
But hopefully it's better soon.
Well, you've got to keep doing it. You're only young ones, and you'll definitely bounce back. So it's when you get to be an old wrinkly like me that you kind of have to worry a little bit more about whether it's worthwhile doing it. I mean, your granddad's quite a good character like that, isn't he? He's got a very clear mind. And when he was younger, we've seen pictures of him with his broken arms and broken legs and God knows what. But today he knows that it takes a little bit longer for him to heal and things. So
you just got to know your body as well, really, because you do heal faster when you're younger. Like, even I can say that now, which is weird.
Wait till you get to our age, mate. But it's true. But the thing is, there's so many things you can do, even when you are getting older, that'll make it even easier for you to recover. And it was all back down to that kind of rest and recovery piece, and just making sure you've got the right nutrition inside you, and you are following the guidelines and the instructions, keeping things moving when you need to.
And you can, if you are like permanently injured, you can move your body in different ways. That's the thing. You just got to adapt, as you said, and like work out differently. Because like, I can't really lift heavy weights on my left arm because that clicky thing, whatever you would describe that as, I don't even know what that is, but it doesn't hurt or nothing. But you just got to work out differently to hit the same muscle groups and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's where, for example, you do have different ways of being able to target those muscle groups. Don't always have to go with the heavier weights for that progressive overload. You can use a bit of mechanical tension metabolic stress to build up the muscles as well, which is effectively building up that lactic acid in there by doing more reps and keep it nice lightweight. And in fact, that's probably an easier way of not actually giving yourself an injury as well. And fantastic when you're working out at home and you don't have a lot of equipment, but you still want to make those kind of gains and those results.
Well, body weight can be good.
Yeah, body weight.
That's not really adding much more strain than it naturally should have.
Absolutely. And you've got the whole, it supports the functional movements as well. So definitely, there's all sorts of things that you can pull out of the bag and keep yourself moving and active without having to specifically do the sport that you've just been injured by.
Yeah, Thanks.
Yeah. So what are the other kind of things you were thinking about rest and recovery?
Didn't really have any more thoughts, so I was just gonna converse about it. But
that's pretty good, really. I think we've given everybody a bit of a flavour about what's been going on and given them some ideas as to how to make sure that works. And I think the other side of it as well, we've talked about the rest and recovery being about, stopping, feet up and kind of making sure you've got the right nutrition. But there's also the other side around actually removing some of the stresses from your life and finding ways of actually being able to de-stress. And when we talk about
stress, talking about mental stress.
Yeah, talking about mental stress, because as daft as it sounds, everything starts in your brain. Every single action that you do, everything you're going to potentially think, etc., all starts in your brain. It starts as how you feel. So between your brain feeling and your actions that you take, all three of them are interlinked. So if you don't de-stress and try and shift out and clear space for yourself to be able to rest and relax, then all that happens is you're always fretting and you're in a position where you're keeping your body under that stress, so it doesn't have that kind of rest and recovery capability.
But one thing I will say about rest and recovery is I think there's a difference between when you're injured, resting and recovering, and just every day resting and recovering, because you still need to do that a little bit.
You do.
Because you're not going to be able to sit in that gym 24 hours a day.
And neither should you, because different muscles kind of recover at different rates, and you've probably found that. Sometimes you'll maybe go out for a big long hike, and the next day you found you got really achy legs or something.
But sometimes it's the day after the day after.
That's right, and that's where
is that got a name, like prolonged
delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS? DOMS got the DOMS.
And that's called that. So
well, there you go. You learn something new every day, and this is where. Again, it's understanding some of those muscle groups actually do take a little bit longer to recover than other ones. And there has been lots of different studies about it. And again, if you're really pushing yourself to that kind of top end, you really are looking at saying, okay, well, how many days can I actually get in between targeting those muscle groups? So you can give it the maximum amount of time, not under tension, not under stress, so it can actually repair itself in the best possible way. So you're absolutely spot on there. I mean, the recovery period doesn't just mean about when you're injured. It's also about just making sure you're making the best use of it, because your muscles grow when they're recovering.
Well, sleeping, rest and recovering.
Yeah, sleep's massive.
Because I've been sleeping a lot now as an excuse, because you do recover in your sleep, because your body's just.
That's right.
Just fixing itself with that, literally. It keeps your heart pumping and just.
That's right. Yeah, so sleep's definitely a big essential there. So making sure that you've got that into your... And amazing, in today's society, how many people don't get enough sleep.
Well, I didn't really used to. Probably. I don't know.
Well, everybody's different. It's one of those things where everyone says, "Oh, you should have 8 hours sleep." But actually,
that's
some people,
a lie. It's got to be a lie.
Some people do. Some people need 8 hours, maybe even 9 or 10 hours a night. I mean, it's not unknown. It's certainly something the body might need. Whereas other people can actually get away with a lot less sleep. And still be perfectly okay, and that's what their body needs. I know for myself, if I'm in a position where I get less than 6 hours of sleep a night, I get incredibly grouchy. And likewise, if I get more than about 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night, I get incredibly grouchy.
Yeah, see, I suffer with that as well when you sleep too much.
Yeah. So it's finding what works for you, getting that kind of pattern in place, and just making sure you're happy with it. And that then means that you can then plan your life around it, so you know exactly how many hours sleep you need, how much rest and recovery you need, and that makes life so much easier. Being able to put that plans in place.
But then, if you lose your pattern, right? Because I'm thinking you might go on holiday, you might have more meetings. Because the other day you had to work till late and started early.
Yeah.
Then I guess you just got to adapt around that to get the rest and recovery that you need.
But that's the whole adage about the exception that proves the rule, isn't it? So there's always going to be times where things don't go to plan. I mean, plan is not the actual action that you're taking. So it's a case then of actually then working around it. Things are going to always happen. Things that you're going to want to happen, such as going on holiday and enjoying yourself, and some things that might not want to happen, such as hurting your foot and spending the night in A&E. So there is going to be all those kind of variations in life, and it's just having the plan means that at least you know where your cadence would normally be. And your body's really adaptive, to be frank. I mean, it will quite happily deal with those little oddities every now and again, as long as in the grand scheme of things, you tend to be doing the right thing for it. Yeah.
Amen.
Definitely. I think we've probably come to the end of this episode. I think we can probably say
it's a steady 15 minutes. So.
Yeah, pretty pleased with that. I think we've discussed all about rest and recovery. As always, any questions, any thoughts, any feedback, please stick them in the comments below. We're quite happy to hear from you. Likewise, if there's any topic you would like us to cover and have a chat about. Oh, sorry.
No, that's what I was just about to say. If you got any topics you want us to cover, then...
Definitely. In which case, do you want to tell them about the likes, links, comments, and all that kind of jazz?
Links.
Well, you know all that stuff more than I do.
Well, we're just available on Apple Music. Well, Apple Podcasts, actually. Nearly. Spotify, and then the YouTube channel Sharp Fit, it's called. So, yeah, if you want to show them some love, that'd be great.
Yeah, share, like, subscribe, all those kind of lovely things that you do with social media. And obviously, just get involved in the conversation, and let us know how we can help you.
And actually check out my Instagram now, because that was on the card at the beginning. So at Dominic2K1, I'll put that on YouTube as well.
Absolutely. making a difference in people's lives, one life at a time, eh? Right. Well, enjoy the rest of the day, and we shall speak to you later. Bye-bye for now.